I had been working with somebody whose family was from right up the street here in Rockport, and she and I developed a script together, and I lived in LA for many years.
He was Commander Riker, second in command aboard the USS Enterprise, a beloved icon of Star Trek. But after one devastating box office bomb, Hollywood shut its doors on him. Work dried up, he was forced to sell his possessions, and vanished from the big screen. What happened next is the story Hollywood hoped to keep hidden. This is the untold comeback of Jonathan Frakes, how he went from Starfleet hero to movie jail exile and fought his way back to the spotlight after nearly 2 decades in the shadows. Get ready to discover the inspiring journey behind the fall and the incredible rise of a Hollywood legend. Jonathan Frakes was born on August 19, 1952, in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania, though his family actually lived in nearby State College. He often joked that even Penn State professors would come to Bellefonte just to visit the liquor stores. His early life was far from glamorous. His father, James, was an English professor, and his mother, Doris, a devoted teacher. Later, the family moved to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where Jonathan and his brother Daniel were raised. Music played a big role in Jonathan's childhood. Because of his long arms, his parents encouraged him to take up the trombone, which sparked a lifelong passion for music. In high school, he joined the Liberty High School Grenadier Band, a group so talented that the mayor even renamed a street in their honor. Despite this creative outlet, Jonathan initially pursued a very different path in college. He started out majoring in psychology. That changed during a summer job as a theater usher, when a director cast him in a play. Watching the joy and energy of the actors on stage, Jonathan instantly realized his true passion. Without hesitation, he switched his major to theater arts. Jonathan graduated from Penn State in 1974 and further honed his craft at Harvard's prestigious Loeb Drama Center. He also gained valuable experience working with professional theater companies. Like many aspiring actors, he then made the move to New York City, armed with big dreams but very little money. This was the beginning of Jonathan Frakes' journey into the world of acting, one that would eventually lead him to become an iconic figure in science fiction. Jonathan Frakes' early career was anything but glamorous. To make ends meet, he waited tables, moved furniture, and even threw out his back once during a heavy lifting job. Despite the hardships, he kept pushing forward, landing minor roles here and there. One of his notable early gigs was on Broadway, in the production of Shenandoah. He also embraced a quirky side gig, dressing up as Captain America for Marvel at conventions. While it wasn't the Hollywood dream he imagined, these experiences taught him valuable lessons about connecting with fans and the business side of entertainment. His first real acting break came in 1977, when he played a Vietnam vet on the daytime soap The Doctors. Unfortunately, his character was written off, and his agent advised him to try his luck in Los Angeles. So, once again, Frakes packed up and moved, this time to the heart of the industry. In LA, he picked up guest roles on popular shows like Charlie's Angels, The Waltons, and Fantasy Island. These parts gave him exposure but weren't enough to propel him into the spotlight. Then, in 1983, NBC offered him a starring role in the soap Bare Essence. The show didn't last long, but it led to an important connection. He met actress Jeannie Francis on set. Though they didn't immediately hit it off, fate had other plans. 2 years later, during the filming of the Civil War miniseries North and South, they crossed paths again. This time, sparks flew, and a trip to New Orleans sealed their relationship. They married on May 28, 1988, after postponing their wedding twice due to new career opportunities. One of those opportunities was the role that would change Frakes' life forever. In 1987, after 6 weeks and 7 auditions, Jonathan finally landed the part of Commander William Riker on Star Trek: The Next Generation. Despite studio executives favoring other actors, Series creator Gene Roddenberry saw something uniquely familiar and special in Jonathan Frakes. Gene Roddenberry didn't just cast Jonathan Frakes as Commander Riker, he fiercely championed him. Roddenberry believed in Frakes' potential and fought to keep him in the role, even when studio executives had other favorites. Once on set, Frakes brought his own flair to Riker, inventing what fans affectionately call the Riker maneuver, the signature move of swinging his leg over chairs. It wasn't a style choice at first, but a practical solution to the set's awkwardly low chairs. That simple act became an iconic part of the character's swagger. Frakes made Riker unforgettable, infusing the role with charm and deep nuance. In legendary episodes like The Best of Both Worlds, Riker's intense clashes with Commander Shelby crackle with tension. Moments so powerful, fans still quote them decades later. Off-camera, Roddenberry once jokingly warned Frakes not to smile during filming. Frakes couldn't help but laugh, because the cast was anything but serious behind the scenes. Alongside Patrick Stewart, Brent Spiner, Marina Sirtis, and others, Frakes helped build genuine friendships and on-screen chemistry that made Star Trek more than just sci-fi. It became a living, breathing universe. But Frakes didn't want to stop at acting. He dreamed of directing. Early on, producers were skeptical. Rick Berman never outright said no, but his expressions made it clear he wasn't sold. Undeterred, Frakes quietly got to work. He immersed himself in the craft, sitting through over 300 hours of editing, attending every production meeting, drawing detailed storyboards, and compiling a 47-page plan for directing. When he finally presented his vision, the crew nicknamed it the Riker Directive. The plan was solid, and it worked. In 1990, Frakes directed The Offspring, a touching episode about Data creating a daughter. Balancing both acting and directing, Frakes often dashed from behind the camera back into costume, proving he was a force both in front of and behind the lens. Frakes earned respect fast. Even skeptical co-stars like Stewart and Spiner came around. Frakes had trained for this. He even met up with cinematographer Marvin Rush at a bar after shoots, learning lighting and camera angles using bar napkins. 13 of those napkins still hang in his office. When Paramount needed a director for Star Trek, First Contact, big names passed. Frakes got the gig and delivered. He brought in Alice Krige as the Borg Queen, crafted haunting scenes with practical effects and digital magic. The film was a hit. Patrick Stewart even called it the best-looking Star Trek film ever made. But lightning didn't strike twice. Star Trek: Insurrection received mixed reviews. Then came Thunderbirds in 2004, a commercial disaster that lost $57 million. Critics shredded it. Audiences didn't show up. Frakes was blacklisted overnight. He called it movie jail. No calls, no jobs. He sold possessions and moved to Maine. His wife opened a store. For nearly 20 years, he wouldn't direct another feature film. Frakes didn't quit. He returned to TV, Zoe 101, NCIS-LA, Castle, The Librarians, Orphan Black. He became known as the sci-fi fixer. 17 different fantasy shows called him when they needed help. By 2016, he'd directed over 100 episodes. The industry called him the genre whisperer. Not loud, not flashy, but he got things done. In 2018, CBS greenlit a reboot of Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction, with Frakes set to direct and host. But 3 days before shooting, the network pulled the plug. He pivoted again, bringing the show back in Germany as X Factor, Das Unfassbare. Different country. Same Jonathan Frakes. But there's a side to Frakes even deeper than his career. His brother, Daniel. Daniel died of pancreatic cancer in 1997, just a week before Frakes' daughter was born. They'd chased dreams together in New York, shared tiny apartments, laughed through hard times. Frakes never forgot. He joined the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network and co-founded Trek Against Pancreatic Cancer with fellow Star Trek stars. Every April, he walks to raise funds and awareness. The survival rate has risen from 4% to nearly 12%. He knows it's still grim, but it's progress. Jonathan Frakes didn't just survive Hollywood, he outlasted it. Not by chasing fame, but by showing up, studying harder, giving more. And in the process, he became something even rarer than a star, a storyteller who never gave up. Jonathan Frakes' journey wasn't one of endless success. It was one of resilience. And in the end, that's what makes him unforgettable. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe for more hidden Hollywood stories, comeback tales, and behind-the-scenes brilliance. Thanks for watching.